What's up, guys?
Welcome back, man. It's been a while.
Yep.
I imagine, after that crazy schedule you had, you probably need a little bit of time off. But I just wonder, the time away, was it, good time away, or was it almost like frustrating time away where you're ready to get back in here?
No, it was great time away. It was definitely needed. I just wanted to develop some of the skills that I needed to develop that I feel like I really need in order to be champ. Lost a couple close ones recently, so got kind of sick of that, so wanted to fix that, and then yeah, it was a good time away, man. I feel like I really needed it in order for me to become an actual champion.
How tough was it for you to kind of process those last two results, right? Because they were amazing fights, they were difficult circumstances, they were against the best guys in the world, right? And you're right there with them, but as you said, you came up just short. So I guess how tough was it to kind of process all that?
Yeah, the pain of losing is the pain of losing, regardless of who it's against or the performance or whatever. So the TJ one was just a little bit especially painful because I really didn't want to lose that one against TJ, for one, and then two, I just didn't really want to lose that close. No one wants to lose that close. If you get beat, you want to get beat. But and then yeah, the Jan one, I thought I fought as hard as I could and I fought as well as I could, on the amount of notice that I got, and I was happy with the way that I did that one. But yeah, tough losses. They definitely both hurt just as much as my amateur losses. Like I said, they all hurt, but they were needed, so it is what it is.
You come back, you're in a headliner, right? I guess does that maybe give you some confidence, some comfort knowing that the UFC still sees you as a headliner? Yeah,
it definitely does. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about where I would be, just because, once you take some time off, people they start to forget, and I didn't want to sit on the shelf for too long, so I'm excited that I get to come back for a main event. That's really awesome. I think Song is a very good opponent. He's beaten some really good guys, so I'm excited about that. He's dangerous, which makes him easier to fight. It's always better to be mentally sharp than it is to think that the guy that you're fighting isn't dangerous. So he brings that to the table. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and I'm grateful that I get to main event again.
He's such a young guy, and he doesn't have necessarily the name recognition, I think, yet that maybe some of the other guys you fought have. That said, do you are you excited about this challenge, or was it kind of man, I got to fight the kid? I don't know. What'd you think about it?
No, I don't really value anything other than people's skill sets in the sport, to be honest with you. I'm not a spectacle guy. I'm not a drama guy. Those things I just don't really like. That's not what martial arts is to me. It's okay that other people do that thing. I think that there needs to be a balance, and I think that I'm a little bit of that balance to the sport, or guys like me, so I'm not into the spectacle piece. I think Song's a good fighter. That's why I'm fighting him. I have maybe 5-6 more years left in the sport, or however many I have, and I don't want to spend those fighting guys that are going to be wins easy. I want to fight the best guys, so I'm okay with this.
This division is so deep, right? There's so many good fights lined up right now. Are you thinking at all about what stakes this has? Where does this put me? Where does it leave me? What does it mean? Are you thinking about that at all?
No, I'm more concerned with just getting a win and getting back in this conversation. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to develop and show the skills that I have developed, and to get back in the winning column, and to start starting this other title run that I'm going to get on.
Last thing for me, knowing the way you look at martial arts, and what's most important? Could you go out there and be yep, I did everything way better, and I really improved, and I came up short? Is that okay? If I evolved, or is this very much results oriented? No, I got to walk away with a win.
No, I'm. The pain of the loss is always the exact same, but it is an easier pill to swallow when you know that you did your best, and I feel yeah, that's a lot easier of a pill to swallow. But the sleepless nights are still the amount of you still lose just as much sleep.
Hey, Cory. Mike John said the bantamweight division's on fire right now. I just want your thoughts on a couple of fights that are coming up. You fought Dillashaw and Aljamain Sterling. I just want to know your thoughts on that fight.
Yeah, I got Aljamain in that one. One reason is because I counted him out so big against Jan, so I won't do that again. And then another one I think is just because I think what Aljamain does, he does really world class, best in the world at doing it, which is getting his hands on you, taking taking your back and then, winning that way. And I think that in order to not have that be the case, you have to have a lot of stopping power, and you have to, like that's not an easy style to beat by any means. And I just don't think that TJ has the amount of stopping power in his punches and his attacks in order to stop Aljamain from running over there, grabbing him, and taking his back. I might be wrong. I'm typically wrong about predicting fights because I don't watch a lot of guys, but with this one, that's how I see it going.
Were you surprised that Sean O'Malley got the Peter Yan fight?
Yeah, super surprised. We'll see how it goes for him, I guess. It's 3 rounds, so that's a little bit more of an advantage for O'Malley, but I think Jan's not a stupid guy, and I think that he's definitely learned from his mistakes in the past, which have been not being aggressive enough in the first round, so I don't think he's going to make that same mistake. I think Sean's last showing against Munoz wasn't good. Nothing really happened in the first round, and then he poked the guy in the eye in the second one, so whatever narrative has been around that fight, that's how that fight went, which should you fight the number 1 guy after a performance like that? In my opinion, no, but what do I know?
I mean, do you think if Sean O'Malley pulls off the win, he gets the next title shot?
He probably will. Jan's a good fighter. Jan almost beat Sterling in his last one. He was kind of beating him in the one before that. So if he wins, then, sure, I guess. I don't really have an opinion about it, and I don't want to say yes because maybe if I win this weekend, then, I can maybe jump in that spot if it's impressive enough. But, yeah, I think beating Jan might get you a title shot, yeah.
And 2 other ones, man. Chito Vera, his rise has been something to watch. He's knocked out Dominic Cruz. Did you see that fight?
I don't really watch the fights, to be honest. No, I spend my Saturday nights doing other stuff. I'm at the gym hours and hours and hours a day. So unless it's someone that I really, really care to learn from, I've always only watched sports to learn from them, which is why I don't watch anything else other than MMA. But no, I didn't really care to learn too much from that fight, so I didn't really watch it.
Understandable. Thank you.
Cory, thanks for taking the time out. And sorry for your losses, by the way. A lot of fighters are, have to be strategic or maybe protect that ranking. You've always been a fighter's fighter. Was there any hesitance to take a guy who's not inside that top 5 and risk that, your position?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, like I said, the rankings are, I feel like, just for people to understand the guys that are fighting better, because there are a lot of fighters in the UFC, and when they have a certain number next to them, it gives them a level of importance that they may or may not be qualified for. But I think Song is definitely a top 10 guy, and I think that he's a very good fighter. I think, like I said, he's beaten some really good guys before, and that's why I'm willing to fight him, is because I do think that he's good, and I do think that he does bring a danger that is easy for me to wake up for and get up for in the morning. So, yeah.
Excellent, man. It should be fireworks. Thank you for taking that fight. You have the obvious edge, but does that give you a little chip on your shoulder saying, okay, he hasn't been on the poster before. I know 25 minutes. I for sure got a couple tricks up my sleeve because you have that main event knowledge.
Yeah, I definitely know what it's like to, it wasn't long ago when I had my first 5-round fight or first really tough opponent or all of the feelings that I feel like he's probably feeling. I know what it's like to have those feelings. And I know that there's just a lot of unanswered questions, and mystery is not the most fun thing in a really stressful situation, and I imagine that it's a stressful situation for him just because he's going into a lot of unknowns, and I definitely think that I have that as an advantage amongst some other things, but I definitely am still not going to sleep on him, but I definitely think I'm going into this fight with a handful of advantages.
Yeah, no doubt. And last for me, if you could elaborate on that was my next question. What are the other advantages who you have going into this main event on Saturday?
I think that my game is a lot more put together than Song's. I think Song does a really good job of hitting the on switch, hitting the off switch, and I think that I do a really good job of chaining a lot of things together and being a very fluid guy. I don't operate off of principles that are move-based. I operate off of principles that are like laws in fighting, like how to keep yourself safe, when to attack, when not to attack, and all of that. And I don't think Song has the same understanding of those things as I do. So, yeah.
Excellent. Student of the game. Thank you, sir, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
I want to ask one follow-up. Given how scientifically you look at the sport, the fact that you can study and put everything in, and at the end of the day, it's still a fist fight and anything can happen. Is that your favorite part of the sport or least favorite part of the sport?
Probably the least favorite part of the sport, because if it was like who is the smartest fighter, I think I'd probably win most of the time. Maybe. But no, I think that it's an interesting part. It's what I think makes the sport so fun to watch. And but yeah, maybe not my favorite. Yeah, maybe not my favorite part.